Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we're going to learn another topic on nutrition policy and food security, which is Codex Alimentarius. Okay, what is actually Codex Alimentarius? Okay, the Codex Alimentarius Commission, or known as CAC, is one of the body that established to develop a food standards under the joint of FAO and WHO Food Standards Programme. So it means that this Codex Alimentarius is a food standard that is under a CAC, or Codex Alimentarius Commission, and this food standard is a joint venture between the Codex Alimentarius Commission under the joint of FAO and WHO Food Standards Programme. So what is Codex actually? The mandate of the Codex is to establish the international food standard. So why they have to establish these standards? In order to protect the health of consumer and to ensure there is a fair practices in the food trade. Whether you are in China, whether you're in India, either you're in Bahrain or etc. So every part of people in this world, they have a fair, same practices in terms of the food trade. And this mandate is accomplished by promoting coordination of food standards that work undertaken by the international governmental and also the NGOs, the non-governmental organization. As I mentioned in the first slides just now, this is a joint under FAO and WHO Food Standard Programme, where the work of FAO and WHO with respect to food standards consists of the three activities. Number one, they provide the scientific evidence by the expert bodies and meeting the established by FAO and WHO. Number two, the activities is to elaborate the food standards by the CAC, the Codex Alimentarius Commission, taking into consideration the scientific advice that provided by FAO WHO. And also the third activity is to create of capacity building programs that relates with the strengthening food control system, taking into account the CAC standards. So the first commission was held in 1963 in Rome, and currently this meeting is annually and alternatively between the headquarters of FAO in Rome or in WHO Geneva, Switzerland. So there is a significant landmark in the history of Codex was the joint of FAO and WHO evaluation of the work of the Codex Alimentarius Commission, which took place in 2002. So Codex Alimentarius Food Standards is actually the collection of food standards and related texts that adopted by the CAC is known as the Codex Alimentarius. So what is Codex Alimentarius? Is a collection of food standards that is adopted by the CAC. They have a procedure manual for this Codex Alimentarius Commission, and the Codex Procedural Manual is one of the most important documents, where it has number one, the statute of the Commission. Okay, number two, they have the rule and also the procedure, and also it contains the additional procedural information relevant to how the Commission and its subsidiary bodies function. We will look at what is actually subsidiary bodies. The statute of the Codex is for the CAC they provide legal basis for the Commission work. Okay. Number two, it provides its mandate or term of reference for the Commission CAC. Number three, it describes the formal operating procedures to develop the Codex Alimentarius. And the fourth one is to reflect the concept behind and reasons for the Codex, for the establishment of Codex. So there are about 4 statutes in the CSC. Again, number one, to provide the legal basis. Number two, to provide a mandate of the TOR. term of reference. Number 3, for the formal operating procedures. And number 4, to reflect the concept and reasons for the establishment of Codex. Okay. So these are all the statutes of the Codex. For example, Article number 1 is about mandate, which is this CAC is protecting the health consumers and to ensure a fair practices in food trade. This mandate, as I mentioned earlier, is coordinate all food standard work undertaken by the international government or under non-NGOs to determine the priorities and etc. Okay. Mandate number 2, the statutes of the Codex is about the membership. The membership of this commission is open to all member nations and the associate member of FAO and WHO that are interested in international food standards. And this membership shall comprise such of this nation as have notified the director, the DG of FAO or WHO of the desire to be considered as member. So this is the statute of the mandate. Article number 2 is about the membership. And about the executive committee, which is in Article 6. This commission, the CSC, it shall establish what we call an executive committee. Okay, this executive committee, we will look at the composition, who is the executive committee, and that ensure an adequate representation of the various geographical areas of the world to which the members of the commission belong. So it must be like every part of the world, every part of geographical areas must be the executive committee. And between the session of the committee, they shall act as the executive organ of the commission. So in summary, the intro about this CSC. So FAO and WHO in 2002, they established the Joint FAO WHO Food Standards Programme to elaborate our international food standard. So CAC, the Codex Alimentarius Commission, is actually an intergovernmental body established to develop food standard under the Joint FAO WHO Food Standard Programme. The collection of food standards and related texts adopted by the CAC is known as Codex Alimentarius. So the collection of food standards is known as a Codex Alimentarius. And we have what we call as a procedure manual, the Codex Procedure Manuals, where it contains the statute of the commission. It has a rules and procedure. It has an additional procedural information that are relevant on how the commission and its subsidiary bodies function. And one of the primary mandate of the Codex Commission is to protect the health of consumers and to ensure the fair practices in food trade. And in order for a country to become a member of the CAC, first the country must be a member of either FAO or WHO, and it needs to notify either the DG of FAO or DG of WHO that it wishes to become a member. So this is a little bit about what is CAC and what is a Codex Alimentarius. And of course, after we know it's about the Codex Alimentarius, we want to know how does the Codex is organized. Yeah. We want to understand how Codex is organized. It's very important in order we want to identify where to focus or activities that to make best use of resources. The Codex Alimentarius Commission or CAC, it consists of the following main organizational elements. Okay, they have the commission, they have the executive committee, they have the secretariat, and they have the subsidiary bodies. So they start with the commission, they have executive committee, and of course they have secretariat. Secretariat it must be FAO or WHO, and they have the subsidiary bodies. And we look at who is the subsidiary bodies. So they have the commission just now, and they have the executive committee, and they have secretariat. The secretariat will be either the FAO or WHO, and they have a subsidiary bodies. The subsidiary bodies is divided into whether it have a general committee, or they have the community and task force, and they have the regional committee. Other commodity committees and task force, they have an active committee, and sometimes they have an ad hoc task force, and sometimes also they have what we call as community adjunct. And we will look at the role of each of the uh, each part of the level in this Codex Alimentarius Commission organization. Okay, in terms of the first one, the commission. So the CAC is the decision maker. So the CAC make a decision. Okay, so it make decision for the Joint FAO WHO Food Standard Programme. And who is the CAC members? The CAC is consists of member of government and also international government and NGOs which have official observer status with the commission. And this commission will meet annually. Every year they will meet. So these who are there? They are the decision makers, the top one. And the next we go to the executive committee of the commission. The executive committee, what is also CC executive. And this executive is act as the executive organ of the commission. And this executive officer must have, includes what we call as a chairperson and 3 vice chairperson that is elected among the delegates. Okay. So, for example, this is the chairperson for the committee of the commission, this is executive, and they have another 3 vice chairperson. So just now they have a CAC, the commission, and then after that they have a executive committee of the commission. So who are the member of this executive committee commission? The executive committee, the CCX executive is geographical balance with one member country elected from each of this region. So it means that it must be from, there is a representative from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, from Latin America, from near and etc. from the south until the Southwest Pacific. So under this, there is what we call as regional coordinator for the regions and also a member of the executive committee. So this executive committee is chaired by the chairperson and also by the CAC. And the total membership for the executive committee is 70. So you have just now the commission, which is the decision maker. After that, there is we call it executive committee. And of course, there must be a secretariat to organize this meeting, where the secretariat assists the commission in the implementation of the Joint FAO WHO Food Standard Programme. They are reporting to the DG of FAO and WHO. And the secretariat is located usually at the FAO headquarters in Rome. Okay, under executive committee just now, there are 4 subsidiary bodies. Okay, number 1, under this rule of procedure, this commission is empowered to establish 4 kinds of subsidiary bodies. They have general subject committees, they have commodity committees, they have FAO, WHO coordinating committees, and also they have ad hoc intergovernmental task force. We will look at one by one the role of each of subsidiary bodies.